How's it, guys? Today we're going to look at the Ewiks' manual movers, and as you can see, we've got the two movers here, the relay box, the remote, and the receiver. We're going to install this, and we're going to just show you how they sit on a Penta, which we're going to do now, and it's a 2014 model, so it already has the Alpha chassis. So let's get into it. As you can see, we've made a little mark there, and then obviously these cables are going to have to push up a little bit, but because they're long, we'll be okay. We'll just cut these ties here on there and move it up. When you deal with aircon pipes, you cannot have any sharp bends in it because you will damage the pipe. So it has to be a very subtle bend if you have to bend it at all. But in this case, we just have to lift it up a little bit, so you'll be okay. The mover is going to sit in this position here, and the square tubing that's going to run from the one end to the other end is going to go through here. We're going to have a bracket fits on here. This yellow mark is our mark to see where that square tubing has to go, and then it goes through and mount it on. We are not going to show the whole installation process. We'll just show you when it's done. But basically, this is before we start, and we'll show you when we're done. The movers are installed now. We're busy doing the wiring at the moment. But movers are in, and I'm going to stick this in here. Let's see if I can get it in there. There we go. In you go. Alright, I think that should give you guys a good idea. So we've got a rectangular tubing. We can also use a square tubing. This particular one is a rectangular one that you can see that goes through a bracket, and the bracket mounts to the chassis, and then the mover slides over the rectangular tubing, and then we tighten it. Let me give a shot from the bottom here. Okay, and if you look at the bottom here, you'll see underneath the square tubing there's a little spacer there as well, and that spacer helps keeping it 100% in place. So the mover is manufactured for a square tube, but you can use a rectangular one as well. This the size is 50 by 75. As you can see, the spacing there, that is the spacing that we require when it is disengaged. That is between 15 and 20 mils, and anything between 15 and 20 mils is, in my opinion, acceptable. If you want closer, you can put it closer. It will give you more grip, but then when the roller is disengaged, it will also be closer to the wheel. So it is a fine line where you have to decide what's good for you if you want to play with it yourself. Otherwise, just get an Ewiks installer to give you a hand with that. Here's the relay box installed, and I'm gonna just open it up quickly so you guys can see what goes on in there. But it is pretty straightforward. You have your 4 relays, and you've got a plug at the back that goes to the receiver. The receiver, we just double-sided tape on the side. You could screw it down on the floor as well, I suppose, if you want to, but we just double-sided, so like it's never going to come off. And then you've got your switch at the back there, and then obviously we've got all the cables going through. We haven't sealed this all yet, but we will before we leave here with silicone or acrylic or whatever we have on hand at the time. So we will seal that up, and then obviously the cables are going to come here to the battery, which I'm not going to open up. It is just connected to the battery, and that's it.